What if I told you she's already telling you exactly how she feels without saying a single word? Every glance, every pause, every subtle shift in her body language, it all means something. The problem is most men never see it. They miss the signals, misread the moments, and wonder why attraction slips away. But not anymore. Welcome to Woman's Secret Signals, the place where you finally learn how to understand what women really communicate beneath the surface. No guessing, no confusion, just real psychological insights, subtle cues, and powerful behaviors that change how women respond to you. Here, you'll discover asterisk the hidden signs she's attracted to you that most guys ignore. Asterisk the small mistakes that instantly kill attraction. Asterisk and the simple shifts that make you naturally stand out. This isn't about tricks or manipulation. It's about awareness, confidence, and understanding the unspoken language of attraction. So if you're ready to stop overthinking and start knowing, hit subscribe and let's decode the signals she's been sending all along. When most people think about attraction, they focus on words, appearance, or grand gestures. But one of the most powerful and underrated tools in building attraction is something incredibly simple: a hug. Yes, a hug. It might seem ordinary, but when done right, it can create a deep emotional connection that words often fail to achieve. You see, human beings are wired for touch. From the moment we're born, physical contact plays a crucial role in how we bond, feel safe, and build trust. When you hug a woman, you're not just making physical contact, you're communicating on a subconscious level. You're sending signals of warmth, confidence, and emotional presence. But here's the catch: not all hugs are equal. A weak, awkward, or rushed hug can actually do the opposite of what you want. It can make you seem unsure, disconnected, or even uncomfortable. On the other hand, a well-executed hug can instantly elevate how she feels about you. Think of a hug as a silent conversation. Without saying a single word, you're telling her how you feel, how confident you are, and how comfortable you are in your own skin. Women, in particular, are highly perceptive when it comes to emotional cues. They don't just feel the hug, they interpret it. That's why understanding how to hug matters just as much as when to hug. In this video, we're going to break down 4 powerful things you should do when you hug a woman to naturally build attraction. These aren't manipulative tricks or gimmicks. Instead, they're subtle behaviors rooted in psychology and emotional intelligence that help you create genuine connection. And here's something important to remember: attraction isn't just about impressing someone, it's about making them feel something. A hug, when done right, can make her feel safe, valued, and intrigued all at once. So before you underestimate the power of this simple gesture, understand this: the way you hug can either spark attraction or quietly shut it down. Let's start with the first key move that most men completely overlook. One of the biggest mistakes men make when hugging a woman is ending it too quickly. It becomes a brief, almost formal gesture, like something you do out of habit rather than intention. But if you want to build real attraction, you need to understand this: the duration of a hug matters more than you think. A hug that lasts just 1 second feels polite. A hug that lingers just a little longer feels personal. Now, this doesn't mean you should hold on awkwardly or make her uncomfortable. The key is finding that sweet spot just long enough for the moment to feel natural, warm, and emotionally engaging. Usually, that's about 2 to 3 seconds longer than a standard social hug. Why does this work? Because when a hug lasts slightly longer, it gives both of you time to actually feel the moment. Her body begins to relax, her mind registers the closeness, and there's a subtle emotional shift. This is where attraction can quietly start to build. Psychologically, longer hugs trigger the release of oxytocin, often called the bonding hormone. This is the same chemical responsible for feelings of trust and connection. So when you don't rush the hug, you're allowing that natural chemistry to do its job. But here's the important part: your body language during that time must stay relaxed and confident. If you're tense, fidgety, or clearly overthinking it, she'll feel that too. Confidence is what makes the extended hug feel right instead of awkward. A simple way to get this right is to stay present. Don't think, how long should I hold this? Instead, focus on the moment. Breathe, relax, and let the hug end naturally. Also, pay attention to her response. If she leans in, stays close, or seems comfortable, that's a good sign. If she pulls away quickly, respect that immediately. Attraction grows in comfort, not pressure. So remember, don't rush the connection. Sometimes, the difference between being just a friend and someone she feels drawn to is just a couple of extra seconds. Now let's talk about something subtle, but incredibly powerful, the way you hold her during the hug. Most guys either go too soft, like they're afraid to touch, or too stiff, like a robot going through the motions. Neither builds attraction. What actually creates a spark is gentle, intentional pressure. When you hug a woman, your touch should feel secure, grounded, and calm. Not overpowering, not hesitant, just confident. This is where attraction begins to communicate itself without a single word. Think about it this way. Your arms are sending a message. If your hug is too loose, it can feel uncertain, almost like you're emotionally checked out. But when you apply slight, natural pressure, just enough to make the hug feel real, it creates a sense of presence. It tells her, I'm here, I'm comfortable, and I'm confident. And confidence, more than anything, is attractive. Now, this doesn't mean squeezing tightly or trying to dominate the moment. That's a mistake. Too much pressure can instantly make things uncomfortable. The goal is balance, a firm but relaxed embrace that feels safe and natural. This kind of touch has a psychological effect. It creates a feeling of security, which allows her to relax in the moment. When a woman feels comfortable around you physically, it often translates into emotional comfort as well. And emotional comfort is one of the strongest foundations of attraction. Another key detail? Your hands. Instead of awkwardly placing them too high or too low, keep them in a natural, respectful position, typically around her upper back or mid-back. Avoid fidgeting or tapping. Stillness actually signals confidence. The calmer and more grounded you are, the more she'll feel it. Also, match her energy. If she hugs you warmly, you can mirror that. If she's more reserved, keep it lighter. Attraction isn't about forcing a moment, it's about aligning with it. At the end of the day, a great hug isn't about technique, it's about how you make her feel. And when your touch communicates calm confidence and genuine presence, that feeling stays with her long after the hug ends. Next, we'll get into a small detail most men ignore, but women notice instantly. Here's a detail that most men completely overlook, but women pick up on it instantly: how your body aligns during the hug. You might not think this matters, but body positioning can completely change how a hug feels. It can either create a smooth, natural connection or make things feel awkward and disconnected. Let's break it down. When you hug a woman, your body shouldn't feel stiff or misaligned. Turning slightly to the side, rather than going in completely square, often makes the hug feel more comfortable and natural. This small adjustment prevents that overly formal, chest-to-chest stiffness and instead creates a relaxed, effortless vibe. Why does this matter? Because comfort creates chemistry. When your bodies align in a natural way, there's no tension, no awkward bumping, no uncertainty. Everything just flows. And when something flows, it feels right. Women are highly intuitive when it comes to these subtle physical cues. Even if she can't explain it, she'll feel the difference. Another important point is posture. Keep your back straight, shoulders relaxed, and movements smooth. Slouching or leaning awkwardly can make the hug feel unsure or forced. Good posture, on the other hand, signals quiet confidence, something that naturally draws people in. Now let's talk about proximity. You don't want to create unnecessary distance during the hug, like keeping your lower body far away while only your upper body leans in. That kind of half hug feels hesitant and disconnected. Instead, aim for a balanced closeness that feels respectful but present. At the same time, always stay aware of boundaries. Attraction grows best when it feels safe. If she keeps a bit of space, respect that. If she leans in more comfortably, you can naturally match that energy. The goal isn't perfection, it's awareness. When your body alignment is natural, your posture is confident, and your movements are smooth, the hug stops feeling like an action and starts feeling like a moment. And those moments? That's where real attraction begins. Now, let's move into the final and most powerful piece, what you do right before and after the hug that makes all the difference. Now we come to the final and arguably most powerful part of the hug, how you enter and exit it. Most men focus only on the hug itself, but what happens right before and right after is what truly leaves a lasting impression. This is where attraction either quietly builds or fades away. Let's start with the entry. Don't just rush into a hug randomly. That can feel abrupt and uncalibrated. Instead, create a smooth, natural transition. Make eye contact, smile slightly, and move in with calm confidence. This small moment of connection before the hug sets the tone. It tells her that the hug is intentional, not automatic. Eye contact, especially, is powerful here. Even a brief moment of it creates anticipation and emotional awareness. It makes the hug feel more meaningful rather than routine. Now, during the hug, you've already learned the key elements: duration, pressure, and alignment. But what really elevates the experience is your presence. Don't let your mind wander. Be in the moment. Then comes the exit. This is where most guys lose the opportunity. Instead of abruptly pulling away and breaking all connection, slow it down slightly. As you release the hug, maintain a bit of that closeness for just a second longer. You can keep light contact with your hands or arms as you separate. This creates a smooth emotional transition instead of a sudden disconnect. And here's a powerful detail: reestablish eye contact after the hug. This is where the emotional impact lands. When you look at her again, calm, relaxed, and slightly warm in your expression, it reinforces the connection you just created. It shows confidence, awareness, and emotional control. No awkwardness, no rushing, just a natural flow from start to finish. You can even add a simple, genuine smile or a light comment if the moment calls for it. Nothing forced, just something real. Because at the end of the day, attraction isn't built in big, dramatic moments. It's built in small, well-executed interactions like this. A great hug doesn't just happen, it's felt. And when you master the entry and exit, you're not just giving a hug, you're creating an experience she'll remember.